Welcome to Keep Heading East. I'm Murray from the YSE Cookery School. If you're joining us again, then welcome back. And if you're joining this series for the first time, then you've joined us in Indonesia, which is the last of our 11 stops in Asia. You can check out the main introduction to this series by clicking the on-screen link in the cards, or follow the link in the description to our free PDF cookbook with all the dishes that we'll be cooking in this series. Or if you prefer a printed version, there's one available as well. Now, Indonesian cuisine is a huge collection of regional cuisines from the archipelago nation of Indonesia. Indonesia itself is composed of about 17,500 islands, around which 6,000 are populated, making it the world's largest archipelago, with more than 600 ethnic groups. Indonesian cuisine includes over 5,000 traditional recipes, with 30 of them considered the most important. So regional variety, as is often common, probably best describes Indonesian cuisine. For example, Sumatran cuisine has a Middle Eastern influence, an Indian influence, while Javanese cuisine is mostly sort of indigenous with a little bit of a Chinese influence. It tends to be a bit sweeter, as it was influenced really heavily by the abundance of sugar production during the colonial times. And the Eastern Indonesian cuisines are sort of more similar to Polynesia and Malay cuisine. There's all sorts of elements from Chinese cuisine that can be seen right throughout Indonesian cuisine, with foods such as noodles, meatballs, spring rolls and things like that. One dish can have dozens of variations across the different sort of localities. A good example of that is chicken satay. It's got at least 20 different recipes adapted in different regions and depending on the local taste and availability of the ingredients. For example, Balinese chicken satay sauce recipe uses coconut milk and lemongrass, ingredients that are readily available in the region. Satay from Padang, on the other hand, is drenched in a curry-like sauce, which is kind of typical of Padang cuisine. Now, our entry into the Keep Heading East cookbook this week is for Indonesian chicken satay. And these chicken satay skewers are sort of somewhere in the middle. Now, rice, again, is a staple food in the Indonesian diet, and almost everything comes with a side portion of rice. Even a carb-loaded meal like noodles or potatoes will come with a side of rice. And for many people, meals like bread, cereal, even pizza only really count as a snack because they're not consumed with rice. Now, Indonesian food carries a lot of influence in its own right, but Chinese immigrants contributed a great deal to making Indonesian cuisine what it is today. As the Chinese immigrants settled in Indonesia, every wave saw the arrival of new traditions and new recipes sort of integrated into the local culture. Even the famed Nasi Goreng is adapted from a Chinese tradition of frying leftover rice in the morning. And a lot of Chinese-based dishes in Indonesia have assimilated themselves so deeply that many people don't really even realize their roots. And as it's one of the classics, I've linked to a video by a Balinese chef called Roy, who's going to take you through the making of Nasi Goreng. Indonesia is home to the largest Muslim population in the world, and since the arrival of Islam into the archipelago, many traditional recipes have been modified to comply with the principles of halal, most obviously trading off pork with other meat. There's also dozens of sambal recipes in Indonesia, and in the same way that the French pair their meals with wine, dishes in Indonesia usually match up with a certain sambal to make it complete. Indonesians are quite content with really simple food as long as there's sambal to accompany it. In the same way that you could say the French can be content with simple food as long as there's wine to accompany it. Ingredients wise is ketchup manis, which is a thicker sort of sweeter form of soy sauce, sweet chili, oyster sauce and shrimp paste. They're all pretty common products in the store cupboard, along with the other Asian usuals like chili, garlic, lemongrass, lime, pandan leaves, ginger and all of those kind of favourites. Now, the other video recipe that I've linked to this week is a recipe by School of Wok in Covent Garden, and their videos demonstrating how to make Mie Ayam. It's a more complex broth soup with egg noodles, shredded stir-fried chicken, meatballs, bok choy, and I think it's a really good example of what Indonesian food is about. So that's a general roundup of Asia. It's a huge continent, and its countries offer some really amazing travel opportunities and eating opportunities. Although there's quite a lot of crossover in Asian cultures and cuisines, it's a really great place to look for recipes and to look for tasty, fresh and really wholesome food. And in the next episode we're going to be moving away from Asia and taking a look at Pacific Rim cuisine. So see you then. So that's it for this stop on our Keep Heading East tour of global cuisine. I hope you've enjoyed it. Links are on screen now for the videos I mentioned earlier if you'd like to see a little more from the region. And remember, for our subscribers, there's a fantastic cookbook to accompany this series. So if you haven't already, hit subscribe and grab yourself a free PDF copy of our cookbook, or if you prefer a hard copy, the links are there as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon.